We are Rogue Media Sports.
Everyone says the story of the match week is Spurs losing. Well, I'm here to tell you that no, the story of the match week is Leicester snapping their 7-game losing streak. And finally, something good to talk about with Manchester United. Something wonderful to talk about with Manchester United. Another match week, another episode of Minor Football Fans Podcast. Let's go! Hello, everyone. Welcome to Minor Football Fans Podcast, your go-to home for all things Premier League football. As always, this is David. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. I surely did. It was an amazing weekend. I hope you all had a better one than mine. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. This is match week 23. Yes, people, match week 23 of the Premier League season. Yes, I hope you all tuned in and watched the games. I hope you all did that. But before we jump right into the big storylines of the match week, before we jump right into all the juicy tea and details and all the extravagant storylines, I have to always start by saying thank you so much to all you who have subscribed, all you who are following the channel, all you who check out our social media. Thank you so much. That is all you returning subscribers. Thank you all so much. We appreciate all the love and support you guys show to us. Thank you. Mwah, a big mwah to you all. So thank you so much. And for our new subscribers, if you are new to the show, if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when we drop new episode for you all. Thank you all so much. Both new and existing subscribers, thank you all so much. And please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Yes, we'll appreciate that. Thank you so much. Give us a big thumbs up in our YouTube. And don't forget, this is not the only place you can find us. Listen to Minor Football Fans Podcast on all podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify or it's Google Podcasts, wherever it is. Please check us out. Check out our socials too. Instagram, TikTok. Yes, thank you all so much. Thank you. So we appreciate you all. So let's jump right into it. The big storyline, starting with Fulham 0, Manchester United 1. Finally, it feels like forever Man United beat Southampton 3-1. It feels like forever Amad Diallo came on and scored a hat-trick. It feels like forever. But that was actually 2 weeks ago. Amad Diallo scored a hat-trick to beat Southampton 3-1. And, ever since then, it felt like, from one storyline to another, all bad storyline. But finally, Fulham 0, Manchester United 1. Manchester United getting a big result, big result. Martinez with a wonderful goal. What a belter from him. I don't know if Benleno could have saved that, because that was just a cutback that happened to, the defender ended up taking back, kicking it outside the box, and Martinez just put a little dip on it, and the ball went up and came down, and Benleno could not really do anything about it. So finally, big result for Manchester United. Yes, and shout out to this guy. What's his name? Let me just bring up his name right here. He made a really amazing goal line clearance. If not for him, it would have been 1-1. Toby Coyler, youngster from the Manchester United Academy. He, in final minutes of the game, he comes on, and they have a corner. And Joachim Andersen heads it, and he clears it off the line with his head. What a play by the youngster. What a play. But again, positives to talk about. I don't know about the performance. I'll tell you this. I don't know if the performance was good. I think it was just there. I think it was a subpar performance from Manchester United. But we're in a result-based business. If you get the results, that's all that matters. And for a Manchester United team that has been struggling with confidence and have been in the storylines for pretty much the whole season, not in a good way. to get a result is finally is a confidence builder. To get a result away from home is a big confidence builder. Is a big, growth in terms of obviously the results. Again, performance, subpar. But it's a big confidence builder for a team that if you watch them play, it looks like they're lacking confidence. If you watch them play, it looks like, oh, I don't want the ball, or I don't want this, or this, that. So for them to get a big win away from home against a Fulham team that is actually really good this season, I think is a big result. And I just had to start there because obviously over the past few weeks, we have come and we have said a lot of things about United, mostly negative, mostly bad things. But when they do win, we do have to come and give them praise. We do have to come and give them credit. Again, shout out to Martinez. What an amazing goal by him. Shout out to Toby Coyler for an amazing goal line clearance that kept the game at 1-0. Funny moment from the game. Andre Onana trying to direct his wall, go here. And obviously the free kick did not, trying to direct his players in the wall, against when they had a free kick in the opposite half. Obviously the free kick didn't pan out to anything. But that was just a funny moment. I thought I'll share it to you all. But yeah, credit to Manchester United. Obviously, when they do well, they do well. We have to give them props to it. I'm not here to say anything bad about Manchester United. I'm not going to say too much on Fulham. I think this was just a one-off result. As I said, if not for the goal line clearance by Toby Coyler, they could have actually gotten a point out of this game. But credit to Manchester United, big ups to Manchester United. Moving on, the game, or what was supposed to be the game of the match week, Manchester City 3, Chelsea 1. I'll start off by saying I'm very disappointed with Chelsea. Chelsea came into this game. Obviously, they got the first goal. But Chelsea came into this game just passive. They were literally passive. Chelsea came in, and I've watched Chelsea play in the last. I've actually watched every Chelsea game in the last 7-8 weeks, and this is the most passive Chelsea performance I've seen. Chelsea came into this game and after the first goal, they had a few chances, but they were too passive. They did not punish. They were too passive. They did not capitalize on the chances they had. Jackson had chances. Cole Palmer had chances, Sancho had chances. It's like they were playing ping pong, like trying to pass the ball to each other to see who wanted to score. Just really weird. Passive performance that I did not expect from Chelsea. You are coming into a game against a team that midweek dropped 2 goals. They literally had a 2-goal lead and they dropped it and lost the game 4-2. You are coming to play that team that's the whole stadium 1-0 up, and the whole stadium was quiet. Take your chances. Take your chance. This is a unique opportunity. And don't get me wrong, Arsenal plays Manchester City next week, and if Arsenal don't beat Manchester City, we'll have a whole conversation about it. But this is a unique opportunity. Anyone that plays Manchester City to come in and actually hand them a loss. But Chelsea were just really passive. Moving to Manchester City, obviously Manchester City started this game with 2 of their 3 signings starting the game. The two signings were Koshinov, Abdulkader Koshinov, the defender, 20-year-old defender, and Omar Mamouche, the guy that started from Frankfurt. 2 of them starting in the starting lineup for Man City, and Kashnov, I apologize, Abna Kashnov, what a terrible debut for him. He had the back pass header that, Jackson pounced on. And then a few minutes later, he gets booked for a foul on Cole Palmer. No, was it Cole Palmer? Where I can't remember who he was. But the first 15-20 minutes of this guy's debut was terrible, horrendous. Everyone was just like, wow, what a debut. To be in the headlines for the wrong reasons on your debut was just terrible. But credit to the Manchester City team, and I'll name a few players in a minute, but credit to the Manchester City team for, proverbially coming and picking him up. They came up and they were like, don't worry, we got this. You've put in a shift and we got this. We got you. And actually, credit to him. After that first 15-20 minutes, he kind of stabilized. And obviously, that's what you expect. He came from the French league, and the French league is not like Premier League. So you expect him to lose a bit of speed. You expect him to be not up to the races. But again, credit to Manchester United team, the Manchester City team as a whole that came up and were like, don't worry, we got this. We got you. And that's what they did. Chelsea, again, obviously, Chelsea being passive, Manchester City capitalized. Credit to Joseph Guardiola, because in the first half, obviously before the equalizer, he was the one that looked most likely to score. I'll say that in the whole Manchester City team, if there was a player that deserved to score and that needed to score, which was Joseph Guardiola, and he scored. He scored the first goal. So credit to him. He came out and he just, from the minute that first goal went in, all the chances City had, it was from Joseph Guardiola. So credit to him. And I'll play out shout out Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva, what a player. He hasn't lost a beat. He hasn't lost a step. And he was just really everywhere. Even during that period where Koshinov was having a bit of a belter of a game, he was the one coming back and, helping, you could see him like putting in shifts just to help, the City defense. That, let's be honest, this season have looked really frail. Obviously, there are various reasons for that, but we won't get into that right now. So credit to Bernardo Silva, credit to Omar Mamouche. For a debut, I think he looked really good. Playing on that left-hand side, he was really, and obviously he's coming also from a league that is like maybe 3 steps below the Premier League. But he just looked really fit. He was just running all over the place, getting some balls. And obviously he scored, and that was ruled offside. But he had a few chances that I'm pretty sure he could have had a brace in this game. So credit to Omar Mamouche. Credit to the City team. What a game by Manchester City. The second goal, precisely. I want to talk about the second goal because I think when we talk about Chelsea, the second goal comes into play. For Chelsea to go a step higher, Robert Sanchez needs to be benched. For Chelsea to go to that next step, Robert Sanchez needs to be benched. We can't be hiding it no more. What was he doing coming out? He had no chance of getting that ball. Any goalkeeper seeing that knows he had no chance of getting that ball. Haaland clearly bulldozed through Trevor Chalobah. It's too strong for Trevor Chalobah. And he wasn't going to get that ball. Haaland always was going to get that ball. Why was he 25 yards? And I could probably be wrong, but why was he way out of his goal line? Why? What was he doing there? I want to go by Haaland. Haaland just, chipped in. Kind of like the Martinez goal also. Just put a little dip on it and it went over the keeper. Ben Leno even had a better chance of stopping Martinez's goal than Robert Sanchez had of stopping, Haaland's goal. Why? Let's be honest. This season, he's been making a few mistakes that Chelsea have been bailing him from. The rest of Chelsea team have been bailing him from. But this one was just terrible. Haaland had no right to take the shot on from where he did. Robert Sanchez, Chelsea, if you want to take it to the next level, just like Liverpool did a few seasons ago where they had to bench carriers and they went out and they got Alisson, and see what that did for them. You need to go out and you need to get a world-class goalkeeper. Or you look into your ranks. I heard you guys have 7 goalkeepers. Go and get someone that is not Robert Sanchez because he's making a bunch of mistakes. Credit to Foden. What a goal. What a sequence of play. Manchester City doing what is rare, going along and finding players like Haaland, who is a really good ball holder. Once the ball gets to him in the middle of the park, he holds the ball and finds the right player. And that's how the third goal came. He found, Ederson finds the top of plays the ball in the top, and then finds De Bruyne who flicks it onto Haaland. Haaland just plays a simple ball to Phil Foden, and Phil Foden's strong goal. Credit to Ederson too. Ederson has 5 assists as a goalkeeper, the most in the Premier League as a goalkeeper. So credit to him. Shout out to Ederson, being brought back into the team. Yes, but Manchester City 3, Chelsea 1. Manchester City have a top run of games. First, they played PSG. Obviously, they lost that one. Then they are playing Chelsea. Then they have to play Club Brugge. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. And then next week, they go to the Emirates to play Arsenal. That'll be a big one, especially for their top four hopes. Especially because we all know the season is done. They're not winning the league. But for their top four hopes, this is a big, big game for them. Moving on, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Leicester City 2. I'm not even going to say too much on this game. I'm not even going to say anything. Actually, I'm not even going to try to even, bash Spurs no more. Because I'm actually tired of bashing Spurs. Week in, week out, we come out and we bash Spurs. And as an Arsenal fan, I love it. But as a football fan, I'm actually tired. I'm done bashing Spurs. I made a prediction earlier this year, my top 25 takes of the new year. And one of them was that Ange would not make it to the end of the season. I still stand by that. Ange Postecoglou is not making it to the end of the season. Either Daniel Levy will be like, okay, we need a change or something, or to save his face, because the fans were just brutal against Daniel Levy. For Daniel Levy to save his face, as he's done in the past, he will sack him. He will sack Ange Postecoglou. The storyline, obviously, we talked about this last week about if Leicester beats Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Well, it came to pass. It was a reality. They did beat Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Everyone was like, oh, the storyline, big storyline, Spurs loses. No! Big storyline was Leicester snapping their 7-game losing streak. That was the big storyline. That was the big headline. Forget Spurs. Spurs losing now is a normal thing. Spurs have lost 13 games this season. Spurs are literally closer to relegation than they are to the top half of the table. I remember when we were saying this about United and we're all laughing. But now this is Spurs. Spurs have 24 points in the season. How do you tell me 23 game weeks into the season, Spurs only have 24 points? Spurs, 5 years ago, they were in the Champions League final against Liverpool. How do you tell me a Spurs team only has 24 points out of 23 match weeks? That is mental. I'm not even going to do math to how many points they were meant to have. This is a Spurs team that, yes, let's face the fact, they have been injury-riddled. They have been faced with so many injuries, especially in their back line. But then this is also a Spurs team that their big players are not stepping up. Their best player this season has been Dejan Kulusevski. And even him was off the races yesterday. A Spurs team where their big players are not on form. They snag, don't get me wrong, they have snagged some really good results. The win against Manchester City, that's probably their only big win. But that has pretty much been it. They have lost the North London Derby home and away, lost to Liverpool, and obviously beating Liverpool in the League Cup in the first leg or League Cup 1-0. But that's pretty much all their big results. Other than that, every other thing has just been subpar from Spurs. I'm not going to say too much on Spurs. How is it that Spurs, before I stop my rant on Spurs, how is it that out of 23 match weeks, you only have 24 points? 24 points. Mathematically, that means you have only won 8 games out of 23. 8 games out of 23. That is mental for a Spurs team. They have lost 13 games in it. So what? This is match week 23, meaning we have played 23 games in the season. Spurs have lost 13, meaning 10 of those games, they have won only 8. Or obviously that's wrong mathematically. But mathematically speaking, 10 of those games have either been wins or draws. That is mental. Moving on. Kudos to Leicester. Leicester snapping their 7-game losing streak. Ruud van Nistelrooy was kind of on the hot seat. We all knew this. Big ups to Leicester. Big ups to Jamie Vardy. I love the shithousery from Jamie Vardy. Every time he plays Spurs, he's always, pointing at the badge and be like, we've won the Premier League. What have you guys won? We've won the Premier League. What have you guys won? Absolute shithousery from Jamie Vardy. So credit to Leicester. Big ups to Leicester. I think this was a much needed win. This takes them out of the bottom 3, just I think 1 point above Ipswich or 2 points above Ipswich, something like that. But yeah, credit to Leicester. moving on, Liverpool 4, Ipswich 1. I'm not even going to say too much on this. This was just a routine win for Liverpool and another one-off game for Ipswich. And I know everyone will be like, while we always said, last week we said against Manchester City was a one-off game for Ipswich. Well, yeah, they are playing Liverpool. They played Manchester City, the best team in the league, obviously, this season, bearing this season. And then they go and then they play top of the league, Liverpool. Back-to-back games. Yeah, it is a one-off for them. Next week, they do play, I think next week they play Southampton. So I do think that is a big game for them. They do have to win that game. Playing Southampton, that is pretty much relegated already. I think they do have to win. Yes, out Southampton at home, you have to beat Southampton. But Liverpool, this was a routine win for them. Next week, they play in from Bournemouth. That'll be fun to watch. Away from Bournemouth. Bournemouth that have beaten Manchester City and Arsenal at home. Welcoming Liverpool. This will be a big, big test for Liverpool. Big, big test. But yeah, credit to Liverpool. Routine win for them. I'm not going to say too much. They have already secured their spot in the Champions League, which we'll talk about in a minute. In the Champions League final round of 16. Automatic qualification to the round of 16. They don't have to play two-legged playoff. Big ups to them. Because Ipswich next week, they have to get the result against Southampton. They have to get the result against Southampton. Moving on, Wolves 0, Arsenal 1. The big storyline from this game wasn't the Arsenal 1 game. The big storyline was obviously the red card for Lewis Kelly, 43rd minute. The big storyline from this game was obviously Michael Oliver. Always Michael Oliver. Always. I don't want to be biased. I don't want to be one of those Arsenal fans that say, oh, Michael Oliver doesn't like Arsenal. But let's be frank, he does not like Arsenal. I know I said I don't want to be one of those fans, but I'm going to be one of those fans that say he doesn't like Arsenal. I read something about how in the 2 of the last 3 games against Wolves, Arsenal have been given a red card twice by Michael Oliver. I mean, that says a lot. That does say a lot. But the one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to bash Michael Oliver. You all crazy fans out there that have been bashing him and abusing him and sending whatever to him. No. Yes, he made a mistake. He clearly made a big mistake. And the PGMOL might not admit it. They might not say, oh, whatever. He clearly made a mistake. That should have not been a red card. But you're crazy asses out there that have been, abusing him and have been saying mean things to him. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are mental. You all need to stop that. You're so-called Arsenal fans that are bashing him and saying terrible things about him and, abusing him. Y'all are crazy. This is football. We don't do that here. Y'all are crazy. That's the one thing I'll never do. Yes, he was wrong. Yes, that was a terrible call. But you don't go out there and make it personal. Damn it. Anyways, crazy asses. But yeah, that was a big and terrible call from Michael Oliver. Obviously, as the game should pan out, both sides were reduced to 10 men. Gomez gets a second yellow card for the red card. And it was pretty much 4 minutes after that point, Arsenal, Calafiori comes off the bench at halftime, and 4 minutes after that second yellow card to Gomez, Calafiori pounces on the ball. What a goal by him too. Giving Arsenal the lead, keeping Arsenal's title hopes alive. Arsenal's title hopes are literally on a lifesaver right now. If Bournemouth, I'll tell you this though. Arsenal goes and beat Man City next week, and then Liverpool fall to Bournemouth. Their title hopes are no more on a lifesaver. They are literally in there. Their title hopes are back on track. But yeah, credit to Arsenal, credit to Calafiori, credit to the boys for holding it, because it was so easy. Obviously, Wolves played a big part in it and not capitalizing on the one man down. But the credit to the boys for keeping it 0-0. until that second yellow card to Gomez. Because it kind of felt like he was going to get a second yellow. Let's be frank. It was quite clear that he was going to get a second yellow. But credit to Arsenal, credit to boys keeping their title hopes alive. Moving on to some other results. This one I want to spend a good minute on. Bournemouth 5, Forest 0. Battle of the storybook season. These are the two teams that are having the season of their lives. I'm telling you, the season of their life. Bournemouth are on their longest unbeaten streak ever in club history. Forest are pretty much on the verge of European, places. And this was a game that was expected to deliver mouth-watering action, mouth-watering entertainment. And to be honest, it kind of did. In back-to-back weeks, Bournemouth have had a player score a hat-trick. Last week, it was Clovert. This week is Otara, which sets up a good game next week against Liverpool. Oh, that'll be juicy. I can't wait to watch that. That'll be juicy. But yeah, credit to Bournemouth. They made Forest look like absolute dog shit in that game. They made Forest look like they did not belong. I don't know what it is. And again, this is just a one-off game for Forest. I'm not even going to read too much into it. I think this was just a one-off game. One of those games where it happens for every team. Let's be frank, it happens for every team. This was just a one-off game for Forest. And I'm not going to read too deep into it. But credit to Bournemouth. Again, back-to-back weeks, they've had a player score a hat-trick. I can't remember the last time that has happened other than Man City and Haaland back-to-back weeks scoring a hat-trick. So credit to Bournemouth. Last week it was Clovert. This week it was Otara, playing in a 9 position that he's not really used to. And then the in-form Semenyo. Semenyo, what a baller he's been. And the Iola. I think the only problem I see for Bournemouth is that after this season, and the Iola is building up his stock. His stock is flying high. After this season, one of these teams, like a Spurs, might just be like, when Ant just gets sacked, they might look to Andy Iola. Now, will he be like, no, I like what I'm doing here at Bournemouth? Or will he be like, no, let's go? That's the only thing I see for Bournemouth. But other than that, Bournemouth they are enjoying life right now. And I probably didn't say this earlier, but I'm going to say it now. Bournemouth and Forest are going to make Europe. Either Conference League or Europa League. I don't think they're going to make Champions League. But they are going to both make Europe. Moving on, Southampton 1, Newcastle 3. Southampton shocked the world when inside first 10 minutes of the game, they put one past Newcastle. And we're all like, oh my days, is this happening? Well, it did not happen. Again, as I said, Southampton are done. Good season for them last year. This season, terrible. Terrible. Newcastle, the most informed striker in world football currently, Alexander-Isak, coming up clutch to score 2 big goals. Between him, Haaland and Mo Salah fighting for the golden boots. We don't know who will win. I think it was 3 seasons ago, the golden boot was shared between Aubameyang, Salah, and I can't remember the last person. Maybe this is what happened this season. The golden boot will be shared between Isak. Because the way Isak is going, the way Salah is going, and the way Haaland going, it looks like they might just share the golden boots. But yeah, credit to Newcastle bouncing back from that terrible result against Forest last week. Bouncing back from that result. So credit to Newcastle. Brighton 0, Everton 1. Back-to-back games for David Moyes and his Everton boys. Back-to-back wins, big wins, separating them from that bottom 3. Big wins for Everton. The one concern though, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That's a big concern. That was a non-contact injury, and non-contact injuries are really, really bad. When a player comes down with a non-contact injury, bad sign. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we all know his injury history. We all know how bad it has been, but I don't know. But credit to Everton, credit to Njai, back-to-back games, goals. That was actually a penalty. His goal was actually a penalty, so I apologize for not indicating that there. But Everton getting a much needed result against a Brighton that is coming off beating Manchester United. this is the Premier League, and this is why we love it. One week you win, another week you fall to the bottom team in the league. This is what it is. That's why we love it. That's why we love the Premier League. Moving on, Aston Villa won, West Ham won. Aston Villa last week, they drew 2-2 to Arsenal. We're like, woohoo, credit to Aston Villa. Then they go and lose to Monaco in Champions League. Then they come and draw to West Ham. Yeah, it's just not been there for Aston Villa this season precisely. And that's kind of much expected because they are playing in Europe and they're also playing the league. It kind of was expected. So yeah. But credit to West Ham for coming back into the game. In the second half, it was clearly West Ham. West Ham had the second half, and just if maybe few inches, and they could have actually won the game if what's his name? How am I blanking on his name? Soucek wasn't offside. It could have actually been a good win for West Ham. But let's round it off. Crystal Palace. Oh my days. I apologize for that. It's actually meant to be Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 2. I apologize for that. Yes, Crystal Palace, Brentford getting the win away from home. Very rarely do we see Brentford getting a win away from home. I think before this, they were, one win in all their home games all their away games this season. I do sincerely apologize for that. It's meant to be Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 2. Brentford getting big win away from home. So yeah, that rounds off match week 23 that saw Spurs lose again. No surprise there. Leicester snapping their 7-game losing streak. Saw Arsenal keep their title hopes alive against a very sturdy Wolves team. Thanks to Ricardo Calafiori coming off the bench to score a wonderful goal. And then Man City putting 3 past a passive Chelsea team, very passive Chelsea team. And Liverpool just doing Liverpool things, coasting. And Manchester United getting a win. Big win for them. But anyways, let's touch on some quick hitters before I get out of here. The quick hitter for this week is Champions League match day 8. Yes, people, Champions League is finally rounding up. Eight match days of Champions League. That's mental. Yes. All games in the final match day will be played on Wednesday. All games, all 32 teams. All teams in the Champions League this season will be played. They will play on Wednesday. This is a match day that has so many implications. Liverpool have already secured their spot, as I said. Liverpool and Barcelona actually have already secured their spot in the round of 16. Automatically, they won't have to play any playoff games because we all know that the first 8 teams in the table automatically qualify for the round of 16. Then 9 to 24 then play 9 to 24 then play in a 2-leg playoff for the final 8 teams that will make up the round of 16. So far, so good. Arsenal, Inter, Atletico, AC Milan have all qualified for that round of 16. What isn't certain is the fact that who will play in the playoffs. Right now, it's looking like if Aston Villa wins, if Aston Villa, Monaco, Feyenoord, Lille, Brest, even Dortmund, if all those Dortmund, Bayern, Real Madrid, Juventus, Celtic, if they all win and either Arsenal, Atletico, Inter Milan, Atletico, AC Milan, Atlanta, and Leverkusen lose or even draw, they might fall below and have to play in playoff games. So, yes. And then PSG and Man City. Man City need a big win against Club Brugge in order to even make it to the round of 6. Because right now, thanks to the loss against PSG last week, Man City are looking just outside those teams that will play in the playoffs. They are not eliminated yet. They still have to play Club Brugge. If they lose or they draw to Club Brugge, they're out. They have to win. It's a must win for them. Must win for them. PSG have to also win their game. PSG have to win because if Shakhtar Donetsk win and PSG loses, they're out. So many storylines to look forward to. But that's why we're here. We love the drama of football. I hope you all had enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back after match week 33. That is the big one. Arsenal hosting Manchester City at the Emirates Stadium. Big one to either keep the title hopes of Arsenal going or to kill it completely. Because I'm telling you, if Arsenal lose that game and Liverpool beat Bournemouth, which I don't think that'll happen, title is literally done. Title is literally done. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. And don't forget to all our new and existing subscribers, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. We really love you guys. Please give us a good like. And don't forget, this is not the only place you can find us. This is Minor Football Fans Podcast on all podcast platforms. Thank you so much. We love you all so much. We appreciate you all. We can't wait to be back to recap match week 33. I hope you all have an amazing week ahead. Big kisses to you all. Big kisses to you all. Thank you so much. As always, I'm David. I'm out. Peace.
We are Rogue Media Sports.